Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Badass Mama Moves. Tonight is a special night. I'm super excited. Oh my God. I was really looking forward for tonight. Not only because of the super important topic that we'll be talking about tonight, but also because this is the very first live episode of Badass Mama Moves. And I am also bringing a guest. So that's two for two for me. That's two for two for Badass Mama Moves. First live episode, first time having a guest. So some good stuff happening. Before we jump in, go ahead and say hello in the comments and tell me where you're tuning in from. And if you're a mama, a dad, grandpa, auntie, you're a titi, let me know that too. Just share in the comments. So yes, tonight we're diving into a topic that it's been around for quite some time and that affects our homes, our kids, our health, mental, physical, emotional, and even with all of that, it's not talked about enough, in my humble opinion. Hello, Bree. Thank you for tuning in. So tonight we are going there, and we're talking about cyberbullying and our kids. And it can be really challenging to parent in this digital age nowadays, to be honest. So we are talking about that tonight. And it's not just about the dramatic stories we see in the news, not just about kids being mean to another type of conversation, but what's really happening behind those screens that our kids like to be on all day, every day. What our teens are sharing, what they are hiding. What is it that we might be missing as parents? What we need to be looking for? What are those red flags, right? Because the thing is that our kids are growing up in a digital world that moves so fast, way faster than when we were growing up. And by the time you can catch up with something that came out last week, this week they're already throwing you at you like one, two, three things, new things, right? That how can you really keep up? Like who's with me? Like I know I'm not the only one. By the time you trying to catch up with something, they're already throwing you the next one. So, and sometimes we're trying to parent in a space we didn't grow up navigating our own selves. So we are really learning with them at the same time. And of course, we want to protect our kids, but without smothering them and controlling them either. We want to be informed, of course, though, and without panicking. But although these things can be challenging for us parents, it can also be scary at times. So that's why I wanted to bring in someone who really understands this space and is an expert in this space. He has experience working, someone that who has experience working directly in this area. He is passionate about digital safety, online awareness, and really helping families understand what's really happening behind those screens and our kids. The screens that our kids carry every day because they do carry that stuff in their pockets nowadays, everywhere they go. So let me officially introduce him. He is the owner of Cybersecurity for Biz LLC. He is a retired U.S. Navy veteran and cybersecurity expert with over 30 years of experience. He is a member of the National Institute of Standards and Technology Cybersecurity Framework Advisory Board. He holds advanced degrees in cybersecurity policy, IT, and business. He helps solopreneurs and micro businesses achieve compliance and protect their customers' information. He also empowers families to stay safe from online threats through prevention focused strategies that build a cyber safe culture. He is the author of the Small Business Owner's Cybersecurity Guide, a book of cybersecurity for solopreneur. And without further ado, here is Mr. Todd Mitchell.
Thank you. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, Todd, for being here tonight. I'm really glad and happy, super excited. We've been marinating this for a bit now. So, first and foremost, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for making yourself available despite of your busy schedule, for being here tonight and for having this conversation with us.
Yeah, well,
So,
thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before we dive, we get into the technical side of things. What first made you passionate about educating families on cybersecurity and digital safety?
I think my passion came from, I guess my whole life, I've kind of always rooted for the underdog. And I found out, which is kind of why I opened my business. I found out about almost a decade ago now that um, the resources are out there for big businesses and big companies, but they don't have any resources available for individuals and solopreneurs down at the small level. All these big companies are chasing, you know, chasing after the big paychecks and looking for companies that are going to spend a lot of money. And so the resources just are, they're there, but they're just not talked about. And I was doing research one time uh, and stumbled across a Pew Research article, and the main uh, head statistic of the article really caught my attention. 55% of 13 to 17-year-old girls had admitted, and this was directly a survey to them, not through the parents, but 13 to 17-year-old girls, 55% of them had admitted that they had given pictures, body descriptions, and personally identifiable information to strangers online. And that just
Wow,
blew my mind because I'm a numbers guy and I'm thinking in my head, mom, dad, two kids, 55%, one of them's already done it. I'm like, why is everybody not talking about this? It affects literally
absolutely.
everybody. And so that really piqued my interest, and I started digging more and more. And now I embrace the opportunity to come on shows like this one and talk to people and just kind of, it's not to be a scare thing or anything like that, but I just kind of want to wake up some parents and kind of make them aware of what's going on so they can have that conversation with their kids.
Absolutely. It is indeed a very important topic and not really spoken about as much as it should be. And this is actually one of the things that when we first met and had that virtual coffee that you share, that really like, oh my God, really? I think we need to talk about this. But um, so tonight's conversation is again such an important one. It's an eye opening. It's very real. It happens every day, and honestly, whether you're a parent or not, it's something that we all need to be aware of. And cyberbullying is not just a mean comment here and there between kids and even adults. Sometimes, it's not always loud. It's not always obvious. Sometimes it's low key, and it's happening right in front of us, and we don't even recognize it for what it actually is. And it can look harmless on the surface, but underneath it can be really doing deep damage. So let's start here. It's a simple, in simple terms, what is cyberbullying, and which platforms are you seeing this happening the most right now?
Right. Excellent question. So, the official definition of cyberbullying is when somebody's using technology to harass, threaten, or embarrass or target another person. And where we see it happening the most is going to be obviously where teens are the most. Uh, and there's some places where teens hang out on the internet that parents don't think about. Usually I ask people, where do you think kids are hanging out the most on the internet? And Snapchat and some of the others, TikTok are on the top of the list, which is technically true. But there's another social media platform out there that people don't really think of as social media. It's called YouTube. If you think about it, you can post pictures, same thing as you can do on the other social media. Um, you can comment on those pictures. So you could post a picture and have a whole bunch of people commenting bad stuff or good stuff or whatever on it. So it's really not much different. And 95% of teens are on YouTube.
Wow.
So everybody, yeah. The other ones are up there in the 60, 70, 80%, but YouTube is by far the most common used. And that's a platform that we don't necessarily think of as social media, and we don't have to monitor our kids' use, and you're not worried about your kid getting bullied. But
Mhm.
if they're back there in the bedroom making YouTube videos and posting them, people are talking about them, whether it's good or bad. So the opportunity for cyberbullying is definitely there. Another big target is going to be on the gaming consoles. Uh, you
Mhm.
know, we don't think of gaming consoles as social media, but every time your kid's on PlayStation or Xbox or the computer or whatever it is playing a video game, there's a little chat room up in the corner. People are
Yeah.
talking all kinds of junk, or they're on the headset like this, and they're talking live, and it is real easy to go both with the cyberbullying and on the identity theft side. Conversation about how to kill this guy, and you go this way, I'll go this way, you shoot him here, I'll shoot him there, whatever, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, how old's your sister? Do you got a sister? Where do you live? What grade she in? It's like, you don't need to know any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that just to kind of be aware of is there, wherever your kid is at on a piece of electronics, that's where you need to be looking for. Because if they're in some, I doubt your kid is on somewhere that nobody else is. So
That is
that's
crazy. Yeah, YouTube, like you will think of YouTube more as a like as they call it YouTuber University for resource and how to do this and how to do that, and will not think about my teenager actually sharing stuff through YouTube, and also of course the games and whatnot that have their own chat, but there also are actual gaming chats
yeah,
that are not
like
necessarily
Discord and
within the
Twitch
game,
and stuff like that. Exactly.
like
But there,
Score.
yeah.
I
Oh,
think that's one of them.
yeah, Discord,
Discord.
Twitch, there's a
Yeah, that's
few,
what I
yeah.
meant.
And those are made for gamers, but then each video game comes with its own little
Right.
generic one up in the corner too. So, yeah, and the bad part about those, why I just highlighted those especially, is because whether they do a good job at it or not, we could debate that forever. But Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, all
Mhm.
those, they are regulated. They are being watched, but nobody's looking at YouTube and these gaming consoles to see what's going
Mhm.
on in there, whether people are bullying other people, and there's no way to block people. And so that's yeah, that's just something you need to be aware of.
So I guess that's one of the biggest misconception parents may have about cyberbullying. Like they just don't think of it where it's actually happening, and it's actually happening.
Yeah,
So
and on
as
the
I was
back to
going
my
through over the no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to kind of highlight a statistic, it's over 50%. There's 55, almost 60% of teens have admitted that they have been part of, whether they were being bullied or whether they jumped on the bandwagon and were bullying somebody else. But this is something that definitely is happening to everybody.
Yeah, and it is super scary. That is super scary. As a mom, that is super scary. Even though I'm a boy mom, I think at this point in the in the world we are in, it really doesn't matter if it's a girl, if it's a boy. And some teens, like you said, have admitted to sharing very sensitive information to people, friends, supposedly friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, someone they just met. And the thing is that these people are expert in this. They make you feel comfortable. They make the kids feel comfortable. They playing games. They doing what they like, right? And they just
Hmm.
work their way in. So why do things really feel comfortable sharing that level of access? Why do you think it make them share that kind of information?
Um, well, like you said, these these bad actors are uh, training themselves on how to do this, and a lot of times, but it's not always just a bad actor. Some of it's just normal teenage just being jerks to other people, um, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's on the internet and it's anonymous sometimes. So people could pile on there and say something, and nobody really knows who it is that said it. So people tend to get a lot meaner than they would if they were standing in front of you saying it to your face. So, and a lot of it is, you know, I don't want to pick on girls, but girls have the highest rates of this, almost twice as high as the boys do. Mostly because um, girls tend to post a lot more pictures about themselves and things like that, and those are putting them in a more vulnerable to,
Mm,
getting bad people popping on there with bad comments and things like that. But I mean, it happens just among kids themselves. You get some 16-year-old girl post a prom picture, and all of a sudden 20 people jumping on there talking about how ugly her dress is or whatever, and things like that. And um, so it's just, I mean, there's that, plus there's the, like we were talking about, with people grooming you and trying to get you to give up information. So you, it's kind of one of those things where it's coming at you from all different directions, and you got to have you need to have that conversation with your children to make sure they're ready for it.
This is another part that really gets me. There are so many teens that who have witnessed cyberbullying happen right in front of them, and not only that, they are other kids that have joined in. Some have even admitted to joining the bully themselves. And I'm not
Hmm.
saying that to judge, right? It's just like crazy, because the truth is we don't always know what's going on in the mind of the teenager in that moment. There's peer pressure, there's fear, there's wanting to fit in, like you just share. Right now, there's not wanting to become the next target. But still, stuff it's still tough, and it is still very concerning. So, why do you think kids or teenagers join instead of speaking up? And what in the flip side, what are other some of the warning signs parents should be paying attention to before things escalate into something bigger?
I think some of the warning signs. It's kind of funny because officially there's a list that I found from some psychologist website or something of the signs of cyberbullying, and uh, half of these kids do all the time anyway, so you can't really go by the list. But spending more time than usual in their room. I laughed at that one because my daughter like turned 13 and disappeared in her bedroom and didn't come out until she was like 19. So that was like, but avoiding school and group gatherings, grades slipping, acting out. Um, if you see them start getting nervous and twitchy every time they get a text message or something, or they're over there looking on their phone, getting all mad, find out what's going on. What's bothering them. Um, and I Another thing too is as far as how to react. Um, in real life, you don't want to ignore it. You want to confront it. On the internet, you don't want to confront it. You want to ignore it. And the reason why I say that is, so I'll explain a little bit. If you posted a picture and I jumped on there talking about you're ugly or your dress is ugly or whatever, something, and then you say something, and then your friends pile on and defend you, and then my friends pile on, and the thing's going viral now. Everybody's commenting on it, and it just went viral. Whereas if you posted a picture and I said something and everybody ignored it, it just dies on the vine in the back end of social media and nobody ever sees it again. So that's why I say one of the best defenses you can do as this is happening is take a screenshot so you got proof, delete the message, and just let it die. That's
Yeah.
they think, I mean, that's not, a good from the psychology side of the house, but on the technology side, that's the quickest way to get stuff to go away off the internet is just ignore it.
And that I'm glad that you brought that up and said it like that, because it is hard for a lot of people to just not say anything, because they just jump to quickly protect and defend and say something up. But we need to say something back and say, but they're not
Yep.
realizing what you just said, that you're just making actually viral, and you're making it worse by
Right.
entertaining the whole situation. So the
Yep.
best
Now
thing
your
is to
picture's got a
ignore
hundred
people.
comments, and yep, your picture gets 100 comments in the first 15 minutes, and now it's viral and everybody's going to see it.
Now let's talk about the signs, because the reality is that our kids don't always come out and say, "Hey, this is happening to me. Hey, someone is bullying me or whatnot." Sometimes they just don't have the words. Sometimes they just feel embarrassed, or they think they can handle it on their own. And sometimes the signals are not obvious, like I said before. Those little shifts, the little changes, things happening right in front of us, and we don't even connect the dots. And as parents, sometimes we're trying to read between the lines without overreacting, right? But what are some of the signals that we should be, as parents and the adults, should be paying attention to?
So some of the a lot of the signals are going to be changes in mood or behavior, acting nervous when they are dealing with technology, if they get a text message or they get an update on something on their computer or on their phone or something. Um, and other things you might see is they might start to withdraw and just kind of be, uh, uh, you know, getting kind of withdrawn away from family or friends, spending, being secretive, not wanting anybody else to see their phone or something
Mm-hmm.
like that, because maybe there's a bunch of comments on there they don't want you to see. Um,
Right.
or getting emotionally upset every time they get on the computer or something, and you're just like, okay, what's going on? You used to love this video game, now every time you play it, you walk away mad. Find so I think the biggest thing is just your kids, so you know how their typical behavior is. So when you start to see abnormal behavior, you know, just investigate. And as far as starting the conversation, one trick that I always recommend we do, especially on the safety and security side of the house, if you you know have children that are going to be kind of defensive and want to shut down and not really pay attention, flip it. Act like it's your problem and ask them to help. Instead of telling them they need to lock down their Facebook profile
Ooh.
because they got too much public information on there, go to them and say, "Hey, I'm trying to lock down my profile because somebody's picking on me and I can't figure out how to do this. Do you know how to do this?" And now make it a family event. Now everybody pulls their phone out and follows along and does it.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that. Make them the hero.
Yeah,
I really like
exactly.
that one. Yeah. Yeah. And that will take away, it will alleviate the way they feel. It will alleviate the shame that they may feel and the fear. That's a real good one. Um, so let's say a parent finds out his or her child is cyberbullied, and I know I've heard about, like, and you shared before about taking a screenshot and documenting everything, and things of that sort. But when you are in that situation, sometimes it can be real challenging to put your thoughts together at first, right? Like I said before, you just want to jump into just protect and do something, say something, and whatnot. But what should a parent really do, and what steps should be taken once parents realize this is happening? I know you share that if it's in online, to best thing will be to ignore it and not entertain it. But when it does become something that needs law enforcement involved instead of just a school or a school council or something like that, what steps should be taken, as a parent?
Well, so two things with that. First, one of the things you want to do is offer comfort. Let them know they're not alone. Let them know that you got bullied before, because I'm sure everybody could think of one time or another where they got picked on when they were younger, or maybe even as an adult and still get picked on. But let them know they're not alone. Let them know there's other people going through this, including you. Maybe tell them a story about something happened when you were a kid. And also, the other thing is you want to let them know it's not their fault. Even in the case, like I
Mm,
said, with girls posting pictures, just because they posted a picture doesn't mean that they should be getting bullied. Now they may be able to slow down and kind of take a closer look at some of the pictures they're getting ready to post, and it might slow down some of the bullying, but that still doesn't mean it's their fault. But those are some of the things that you can do as far as when it does reach that point. Like you said, school counselors, law enforcement, you want to have proof, screenshots. Take screenshots of some of these messages. Take screenshots of you know, and if it's on like a gaming console and you can't really hit screenshot or whatever, take your phone out and take a picture of that gaming console screen.
mm,
Where it's sort of, and that way, if it does get to law enforcement, you can text them a bunch of pictures, and say, hey, here you go. This is what's going on. This is what people are saying, or this is what so and so said. You know, uh, so having that kind of evidence around is going to help your case. And school counselors is going to be, if you know who it is, like if they're being bullied by other kids at school, even though it's happening over the internet or whatever, um, going into the school and talking to them about it, and having your kids talk to the school about it as well. Kind of do it as a group, because maybe it's a case where the counselors can bring in them and bring in the people that are picking on them, and they can figure out what's going on and why they're all doing it to each other and all this kind of stuff. But the biggest thing you want to do is, keep records. Like I said, screenshots, save pictures, whatever it is, because digital evidence can get deleted or at least
Right.
disappear off of your device, and then you want to have those records.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I had a little incident as well, a scenario that with my son, he was being bullied in high school, and thankfully we're able to save, certain things and screenshot, and I brought it to the attention of the school, and they were kind of not really paying attention to it the way they should
Eh,
until I
yeah,
mentioned, hey, I'm trying to take this in the right chain of command, but if and keep it in the school. But if you don't do anything, I'm gonna take it up a notch, and you're not gonna like it. So you know how fast they made it happen because they made it
well,
happen.
and one thing, and this is something, for everybody that's watching this right now, or watching a recording later or whatever. Uh, Take this up with the political powers that be in your town, or
Mm,
your state. Um, because the one of the biggest problems is, cyberbullying is not illegal,
I'm
because
sorry,
most of
what?
the it's not illegal. Most of the bullying laws that we have in this country, there's not a lot of them, but the ones that we do have were made in the 60s and 70s. There was no internet. So it doesn't
Mm,
reference any of that. So when you're talking to a law enforcement official, or, somebody like that, the local police, the laws they have are against somebody showing up and causing physical harm, or threatening you, threatening your life, and stuff like that. But none of that stuff over the internet. Just telling somebody they're ugly or they ought to go kill themselves, and just make it easier on the rest of us by go killing yourself because you're stupid or whatever. There's nothing illegal about that. And that is something that everybody needs to, like you talked about, start going to those city council meetings, start going to the school board meetings, and start beating on the drum until eventually,
yeah,
the state legislatures, or our federal government, or somebody hears it loud enough that they actually do something and make a law against this stuff.
yeah. It is crazy how and sad, unfortunate how these things sometimes something really bad, tragic, has to happen before they actually do something about it. Someone has to
Exactly.
get hurt real bad. Someone has to die, or not one, like a whole bunch of people have to die before they actually do something. It's just crazy. So
Yeah.
we kind of wrapping up over here. This has been amazing, Todd. Such an eye opening, a lot of great information. Um, this conversation is not about scaring parents, right? It was all about waking us up a little bit, shaking us up a little bit, making us aware. Our kids are growing up in a digital world we didn't grow up in. You know, when I was growing up, that's when it kind of started. I'm not trying to give away my age, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No,
The
and that's so
playground
true.
doesn't close at 3.
it's
Yeah, go
it,
ahead.
it's so true. I mean, I'm the same way. I'll give away my age. I don't care, because I'm getting ready to turn 60 this year. And my daughter grew up, uh, uh, kind of one foot in each world. Early childhood, there was none of this stuff around, but by the time she was in high school, there was instant messaging and some of that stuff was coming on. But and I remember one of her friends was 13 years old and ran away from home and got on a bus to go to Dallas on the other side of the country to be with some 16-year-old boy that she was falling in love with, that she met on the internet through instant messaging. And luckily, my daughter and a couple of her other friends ratted her out to her mom, and they met her at the bus station, and they found the guy that she was going to meet. It wasn't a 16-year-old boy. It was like some 50-year-old Egyptian guy who had a passport with her picture on it already. He was about ready to scoop her up and take her overseas. You'd have never seen her again.
Oh my
And
God.
that, so I didn't have to deal with this so much, because that scared the crap out of my daughter and all her friends. So they were like, nope, we're not telling nobody nothing on the internet from now on.
Yeah,
But like you
no,
said, somebody,
wow.
this stuff has been around for a while. It's just it's applied differently now because we didn't grow up in an age where you could talk to each other through a video game. You know, we grew up where you had to go to the arcade and hit the buttons on a Pac-Man game or something. It was like there was no social media involved in that kind of stuff. So that's one of the, I guess my biggest takeaway as to parents right now is just, you know, be aware, be nosy. It's your right and it's your job. You know, grab their phone every once in a while and
Mm-hmm.
say, "Hey, I got to check something," and start looking at their accounts to see what's going on. You know, I know you don't want to invade their privacy, but you can just explain it to them. Say, "Look, you know, there's a lot of bad people out there doing bad stuff, and we got to try to keep you safe." You know?
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is that it's a 24/7 thing nowadays. As overwhelming as it can feel, and we're not powerless. We have, you know, we just need to be aware,
Right.
because like I said, back in the days, the playground doesn't close at 3 o'clock anymore, or when the light poles turn off, you know what I mean? Who knows about that? It's a 24/7 thing. They carry that thing everywhere they go, on the phone, tablets, whatever it is. You know, the biggest thing is that we can do is to stay present, to stay curious, as you just mentioned, to really be aware, to keep the conversation open, make sure that our kids, know that no mistake, no message, no situation is too big to bring to us. Um,
Yeah.
so, Todd, this has been an amazing, amazing conversation. I really, really appreciate you really being here and taking the time. So, if someone that is watching tonight, wants to connect with you, learn more, or bring you to speak at a school or organization or anyone, anywhere else, how can they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is just to shoot me an email, consultant at cybersecurity4biz.com.
Yeah. Can you repeat that? I'm going to put it on the chat
Okay.
once we
Uh,
get off, but can you repeat it?
consultant, consultant at cybersecurity4biz.com. Just like just like that right there, only put the word consultant in front of it. Consultant at cybersecurity4biz.com.
Let's keep the conversation going. Let's continue bringing that awareness, eye opening that we really need as parents, as adults, as caregivers. We just need to be aware. We need to be present. So please share this live, this video, with any parent, anyone that you think could benefit, and let's just keep the conversation going. We are raising kids in a new world, and we're learning right alongside them. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. As always, stay grounded, stay fierce, and let's keep making those badass mama moves.
Bills pile high, but I won't lose sight. Got my fierce mama vibe, I'm ready to fight. Navigate the struggles, I'm the captain here. With my dreams in focus, no room for fear. Building my kingdom brick by gritty brick. Every setback just makes me more slick. With each lesson learned, I turn pain into power. Here comes the queen, watch me rise by the hour. So raise your glass, here's to all the queens. Baddest mama moves, living all our dreams. We got the sparkle, we got the heart. With every step we take, we're breaking apart. This is your prosperity.